Okay, my name is Steve Brown. I'm an Extension Cotton Agronomist, Alabama Cooperative Extension, Auburn University. And I have with me my graduate student, Dalton Barber. We've got a couple of studies here at the Wiregrass Research and Extension Center. The first one that's immediately behind us is a row spacing study. It's really born on the idea of maybe something William Birdsong did last year, where he looked at some very wide rows, 60 and 72-inch row spacings. And after looking at it, I thought, well, that's maybe a little bit wide. And so then we've launched a study where we've got two varieties. We're looking at a 48-inch row spacing and a standard 36-inch row spacing. So Dalton, make a couple of comments on varieties and so forth.
So we chose those two varieties because we feel they'll be more prominent going forward in the future. And we have three different PGR regimens. We have a controlled with nothing, and then we have a moderate, which is 8 ounces of PICS, and then we have an aggressive as well, which is 3 ounces of Stats. That was applied last week, so we're a week from application. There's not much difference between the varieties or the different row spacings on no to first fruiting branch, but as the crop continues, we'll go forward and do some more plant mapping to look at plant growth as well.
We will take end of season plant maps, and we'll have an estimation of how many vegetative bowls we made. And the two varieties we selected are very different in growth habits, so it'll be interesting to see the yield comparison on the 36-inch versus the 48-inch, and then also where we made the fruit. So we look forward to that. This will be our standard 36-inch row spacing, and we're happen to be in front of Phytogen 400. To my left is a 48-inch row spacing, so you can see it's 25% wider, and this happens to be Delta Pine 2055. So again, we've got two row spacings, two varieties, and we have multiple PGR regimes here. But the wide row notion is that we can save down the row cost, particularly picking, harvest cost, and perhaps also seeding cost if we match the populations on a per foot basis. So we may also see less bow rot and maybe a little more capacity to withstand drought on these wider row spacings. A second study that we have at this location and at another location is really looking at plant populations. And we have a seeding rate study where we encompass the entire range. We start out at 3 seed per foot, and we go all the way to 1 seed per foot. And if you figure that on a spacing per plant or per seed, that should be a seed that are 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, 7, all the way to 12 inches apart. And so the obvious goal here is how low can we go and still make maximum yield. So this is a very interesting study. We have the same two varieties, one that's very aggressive in terms of height and a very full season. The other one is a more compact plant, but we'll be monitoring these as well for their growth characteristics, the plant architecture. But this, we do think the literature suggests that seed populations around 1.5 plants per foot, maybe even slightly lower than that, that's enough to make a maximum yield. So we'll be testing that in this situation. So we're very excited about this study and the progress that we've seen so far. It's going to be very interesting as we approach yields here at the Wiregrass Station.